In the biting cold of the forest night, the only warmth came from the crackling fire. I sat there, every muscle in my body screaming in protest. My clothes little more than rags. Beside me, my companion, the wolf, lay still. His golden eyes, half open, watched the embers glow and fade. His breathing was heavy, a ragged rhythm that spoke of the life or death battle we had just endured. The forest, once a sanctuary, now held its breath. The metallic tang of blood hung thick in the air, a grim reminder of the poachers we had fought off. We had won, but not without a price. Leaning closer to the wolf, I whispered, my voice hoarse, "Rest, my friend? We made it through again." He lifted his head, a monumental effort, and his gaze met mine. Beneath the pain, I saw something else, something profound. Trust and unbreakable loyalty forged in chaos. When morning finally broke, it crept in slowly, a thief in the night. A thick fog blanketed the valley, and the distant mountains appeared like ghosts under the pale, new light. I pushed myself to my feet, using my wooden spear for support, and looked out over the vast expanse of trees below. A bitter realization settled in my gut. This land, this wild home, was no longer truly wild. The hunters, the loggers, their insatiable greed had scarred it, taken too much. My purpose now was singular, crystal clear. I had to protect the pack. As if sensing my resolve, the wolf limped to my side, pressing his head gently against my leg in a gesture of silent solidarity. A faint smile touched my lips. "I'll finish this," I murmured, more to myself than to him, even if it's the last thing I do. 3 days passed. The quiet was deceptive. Deep in the valley, the poachers returned, their arrogance on full display. This time, they brought trucks, high-powered rifles, and the intent to burn down whatever stood in their way. But I was ready. I had become a part of the forest, a shadow moving through the mist. I used the land itself as my weapon-clever traps, disorienting smoke screens. The very terrain turned against them. Every clang of metal, every shouted command was met with a guttural snarl from the darkness. The wolf pack, once scattered and terrified, had regrouped under the silvery light of the moon, and at their head was the same wolf I had saved all those months ago. His presence gave them courage. One by one, the intruders' confidence crumbled, replaced by a primal fear. "What the hell is out there?" one of them screamed, his voice trembling in the cold air. From the shadows behind him, a voice answered, cold and unforgiving. "Nicha! Fighting back!" I emerged then, my face smeared with ash, the tip of my spear glowing red from the fire's embers. The wolves materialized from the trees, surrounding the poachers, their eyes gleaming like hot coals in the gloom. The battle that followed was a storm of violence. Gunshots shattered the night's silence. Fire clawed at the ancient trees, and the forest itself seemed to cry out in agony. But I fought with an instinct I didn't know I possessed. I was no longer just a man. I was a force of the wild, swift, silent, and unstoppable. When the chaos finally subsided, a heavy silence fell. Smoke drifted lazily through the wounded trees. The wolves stood their ground, a victorious but somber council. But my strength gave out. I collapsed to my knees, a sharp, searing pain blossoming in my chest. A bullet had found its mark. Blood seeped through my shirt, a warm, dark stain against the fabric. The lead wolf was at my side in an instant, a low whine escaping his throat as he nudged my arm with his nose. I managed a weak smile. "Hey, it's all right," I gasped. "You're safe now. All of you." In response, he threw his head back and let out a howl that ripped through the valley, a sound that was equal parts sorrow and triumph. Days later, I was found by villagers at the forest's edge, clinging to life by a thread. They carried me back to their world, but my heart, my spirit, remained behind in the wild. As I slowly healed, my gaze would often drift to the mountain ridge, and there, at dawn, I would see him, a lone wolf, standing sentinel, watching over me from a distance. We never moved closer. We didn't need to. Our bond had transcended words, transcended species. One morning, looking up at him, I whispered to the wind, "Go! You're free!" The wolf tilted its head, a silent acknowledgement. He turned, his powerful form melting back into the tree line. But before he disappeared completely, he howled one last time. It wasn't a goodbye. It was a promise. In the world of men, loyalty can be a fleeting thing, easily forgotten. But in the heart of the wild, it's etched into the very soul of the land, a bond that lasts forever. We were no longer just a man and a beast. We were brothers, forged in struggle, and bound by a trust that could never be broken. Thanks so much for watching. This story isn't over yet. If you want to see what happens next, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for part 5, The Return of the Alpha. You won't want to miss it. See you then.